Hi, Aditya here again from Analytics Velocity to give you a run through of some of our offerings which we plan to provide as part of our training curriculum. As discussed in our first video, we have focused on primarily on gearing up people as part of their aim to become better analytics professionals. And we are constantly developing more and more content to uh, achieve this endeavor. So you so far trained more than 100 students in this field to become better in the analytics domain. And uh, we've received much appreciation for the same. So what we plan to do on this recording is I'll give you a run through of the syllabus which will be covered as part of the course. And I'll tell you what are the core topics which we'll cover. It's been tried and tested. It's gone through multiple batches who have gone through it successfully and have appreciated it significantly. And so that's what I'll do. So the course which we plan to cover as part of the course is basically for people who are trying their best to get into analytics and from coming from a variety of fields. So what you see now is basically what we plan to cover. We start at a ground level, giving people an idea of what statistics is about. Then we make a foray into understanding R. We'll predominantly be using R as part of this course, along with Python towards the end of it as part of modeling as well. Here, it seeks to identify what are the basics of R, what are the basics of the core statistical requirements which are needed as part of any analytics endeavor. Uh, and it it is applicable for everyone. It's not like you have to have a coding prerequisite or statistics prerequisite as part of your education to be able to take on this course, because we start from the bare basics. And in fact, the majority of the students who have come so far with us have actually been without a prior statistics or our coding background. So that's pretty much what the first couple of sessions is devoted to. We try to mix it up a bit so as to ensure that there's sort of a balanced growth between the understanding of statistics as well as when it comes to the understanding of R and applying those statistical applications. There are exercises regularly. We regularly give exercises and we circulate them so that people can understand what is being taught and apply them in other scenarios. Data sets are regularly circulated, primarily from Kaggle and a variety of other situations, so that you have a clear understanding of what is being taught in class and from a practical perspective. So that's pretty much what session one covers. Session two sort of graduates into a bit more advanced art, understanding of data sets, understanding of how to subset data, how to apply functions to data sets to see how you can transform data at the very basic level, and also some level of visualization in terms of understanding data. So we look at scatter plots, box plots, histograms, so as to understand data and give people a flavor of what are the primary approaches when we look at understanding the patterns of data that we analyze. Uh, so after that, we basically start making a step towards statistical understanding. So that is pretty much what people look at nowadays as to how to test data, test hypotheses, to understand why exactly something is statistically significant, why is it important from a business perspective. And that's exactly what we do from the third and fourth session onwards. And we try to see as to what is the distinctions between a univariate and a bivariate setup, how a bivariate setup is actually different, and we try to drill it down to the very basic levels so that people understand the difference between a single variable setup and a double variable setup. We also get a bit statistically rigorous here, because the focus here tends to be more towards understanding why particular distributions are used, how one distribution is related to another, for instance, the Z to the T to the F, and how they graduate from one to the other, and how they're applicable in particular hypothesis testing scenarios as compared to others. So although it does get a bit rigorous, this level of theoretical rigor we believe is required in order to be able to excel in the analytical domain. So it does get theoretical, but not to an unmanageable proportion. It's only from the fourth and the fifth sessions that we graduate to what people sort of are looking for nowadays, which is basically modeling. So we start off with linear modeling. We try to identify what are the underpinnings. We completely stay away to what you will find nowadays in the general domain. So nowadays, when you talk about linear regression, people only tend to talk about some basic assumptions which they put up, and people take that for granted. We don't do that. So we go down to the basics, tell people and sort of help people understand how a linear regression is developed from the bottom up. What are the core assumptions in play, how linear regression can be undertaken from both R and Python. So Python makes an appearance here for the first time. And we basically try to show people how the linear regression is built up and what sort of a situation it is used, core assumptions from a business perspective, but a certain significant amount of theoretical rigor comes into this, which basically I think sets us apart from what is available in the public domain nowadays, right? So there are data sets readily available. We circulate data sets as part of every session, and we seek to try and show people how data sets are applicable, how they can be manipulated, how linear regression can be applied, how it's applicable to business processes, what gets asked in interview. So there's a special focus when it comes to interview questions here as part of this course. So we go at each level of the course and instruct and provide guidance as to how what sort of questions get asked under these topics. So our experts basically have taken and interviews of candidates which are more than 100 in number across organizations, across Big Fours and several others. And so because of that, we know what questions get asked, and we focus on that on a topic by topic basis. So after that, we basically go on to the logistic regression. We go into classification models, and we tell people what determines the logistic regression. Classification is, of course, the more popular area of discourse nowadays when it comes to machine learning problems. And so we focus again from the bare basics on how logistic regression is developed, how it again graduates to a decision tree, how it goes on to a random forest, what are the relations between the algorithms, start getting people comfortable to the whole idea of machine learning. So we are basically moving away from a statistical setup to a more machine learning setup. And we sort of finish off with a couple of additional algorithms. We don't do them in too much of detail because of the paucity of time, but we do cover a significant amount of time on clustering and time series as well, to give people an idea of how these algorithms work, again, both in terms of R as well as Python, and how it is applied from a business perspective. Data is regularly available from Kaggle and a variety of other sources, which allows us to give a visual representation and a theoretical representation of these core methods. Now, the whole objective of the course is not to coach someone from the beginning to the absolute end of what is currently being done in analytics, but to give them a flavor as to, if you start from the bare basics, and if you, let's say, go up to a certain level in terms of machine learning, what it's all about and what it takes to actually clear an interview. So the focus is actually to give people an idea of what the machine learning area is about currently. We constantly refer to real world examples about possible interview questions, about real world data sets, about what exactly is being done currently in industry, be it in retail, be it in FMCG, BPO. We have experts with experience in all these fields, primarily in FMCG and healthcare. And how these machine learning algorithms are actually applicable in all these settings. So it is a comprehensive course in that way, because it perfectly blends up a theoretical as well as a practical requirement when it comes to exposure to this analytical domain. So this was a run through of the syllabus which we plan to cover. It's approximately 30 hours. It takes around 5 to 6 weeks to complete based upon our experience in the last over the last 100 odd students who we've trained successfully in this area. And we do hope you take it up. Along with this YouTube link, I'm also providing our Facebook page, as well as my email ID, as well as my coordinates, so as to reach out to me in case you want to have a discussion around this and how you would like to take it forward. And we'd be happy to take it from there. So hope you take up the course, and I'm sure it will be a great experience for you in launching your career in analytics. Thank you.